Hi everybody, it's Christy from Christy's Beautiful Life, and I'm here to do a little bit of an album explanation on how I utilize my albums. So a couple months ago I shared with you how within an album how I know where the next layout is going, and I have little slots. I shared with you that. I think that's pretty interesting, and I love to see how everyone does that. But now I want to show you how I literally store certain layouts in certain albums. So I'm going to share four. I'm not going to share the albums, like all the content. I'll do big album shares later, but just to kind of show you. So let me start here. This is my son's album, and this is the first one. It will go from the day he was born and so on and so forth. So this album includes, let me just make sure it's in focus here. Okay. Sorry, my desk is messy. I've been busy scrapping away today. It includes, so the very first, like our pregnancy photo that we took, maternity photos, into how we picked his name, his little cute little toes, him, and what this album is mostly about has to do with things. At the beginning, it's just him being cute and little bits and pieces. But as it graduates on, it starts to talk about pieces of him that represent his personality, or the fact that like there's a milestone, like he's 5 months in this layout, and stuff like that. So anything that has to do with his personality or something just to do with him, that I think he would like to know as he gets older. So that's what this first album is all about, and it's multiple different things, and I don't and this isn't organized, it's slowly getting there, but I'm still in the process of scrapping everything to do with my son, so it's not done, but that's how it works. So it starts from him being born, is going onwards, talking about his personality traits, and then I have this separate album here that eventually will turn into multiple albums because the content will eventually grow, which is my hope, obviously, as I continue to scrapbook. And it includes things like, the first part of it is all of his first. So his first bath, the first weeks. Anytime I put the word first within the layout, it's going into this collection here. And it can be anything as his very first pool was in a swimming pool. He got to swim in a bucket, like little things like that. And that's what the very first part of it includes. I even included his first tantrum, his first artwork, all sorts of fun firsts for him, which of course, as he gets older, is going to create its own layout, an album on its own. And then I have here, I am creating a layout for every year he's born. He was born every year he's here. So this is the first one. That was the day he was born, his name, all of that fun stuff. And it's his birthday. So everything's going to represent his birthday. So this was him being 1, and the day of his birthday and all of that, being home with me. This was his second birthday and what he got to do, and a little photo. And he just turned 3, so number 3 is going to go right there. Eventually, again, until he's 18, or until I decide I'm done, it's going to go like that. I then have another section, and this is the section I am the most excited about, because to me it's the most meaningful, and it's kind of along the same lines. So it's got, like, this is his first birthday photo that I took to represent him on his first birthday and what happened. But it's his first year kind of captured within 3 or 4 layouts. So that's him being 1. And I haven't done it. I just decided to do this, so I haven't done it with him as a baby yet. I have to decide on the few layouts I want to do for that and include that as well. That thing goes into what his nighttime routine was like when he was 1 year old. Something that changes constantly, but at that moment it was so him, and something that I really wanted to remember and to document. And then it turned into life with my 1 year old, because let's face it, that changes. And I wanted to just document what it was like to be with him. I just grabbed some random photos of him at the age of 1, earlier on at the age of 1, and did my journaling. So 3 layouts to represent him as a 1-year-old. And then I did the same thing for him being 2. So his 2nd birthday photo that I took to represent, this is just the fun photo that I took for that day. It doesn't, I always say that it's his birthday even if it's not. And then I just write my little note like, how are you 2? How are you gonna be 3? All of that fun stuff. So there's that one. And then this is a little bit different though, because instead of doing his nighttime routine, I did what his room was like at the age of 2. Something that is already different. It's very different. He doesn't sleep in his crib anymore. It turned into a toddler bed, and that's what he sleeps in. And his room's been rearranged. So that's already changed. But how cool is it that I was able to snap that, see a few things that I laugh at because it's just not like that anymore. So there's that. And I also did a you currently at 2, including all of his favorites. Because now that he's a bit older, he actually gets to kind of pick what he prefers because he has his own personality and he gets to make his own choices for certain things. And then these 2 photos are very much him at the very end. So he's like 2.5 in these. And I love how that turned out. And then I don't have anything in the back because I haven't scrapbooked anything of him being 3 yet. So that is how I separate my son. So what are we talking about? Eventually we're probably looking at 1, 2, 3 separate albums, including just within like a theme. And then again, his yearly album, which won't be a yearly album because I don't create that many layouts for 1 year, especially as he's getting older. But his album that's just about his personality and him growing up and all of that. And eventually I will create a school album for him. So that is how I deal with separating things. I'll do the same thing with my daughter when she comes along here soon. She's due in about 2 months, actually a little less than 10 weeks. I'm just gonna have a quick sip of water here, of coffee here. And then I do something a little bit different for my family album as well. So this is my 2014 family album. It's not completed, I'm so close. I keep telling you guys I'm gonna have an awesome layout share for you and I just haven't quite gotten there. But this literally is just anything to do with our family. And when I say our family, I literally mean Sean, myself, and Jackson. So if it doesn't have anything to do with one of us, it's not in here. And so it just goes through and it talks about something like, this is a really cute photo of Jackson, but it's talking about how I'm loving being his mom right now. And so it's more on my perspective of what I enjoy about him. So it's a family album layout versus something that says, you used to look up at me and smile and something like that, which was be more of a trait or a personality. That's how I differentiate where it's gonna go, what album it goes into. And it just kind of goes from there. So that is what my family albums consist of. I have a lot of things about me that pertain to, like, my haircut would go in here, versus I do have a book about me, which I could include this in my book of me too. It just happened to fit nicely within my 2014 album. So things like that. I always document my birthday and I put that, our birthdays all go in our family album versus separate albums. And vice versa, stuff that goes like that. And that's how I kind of go about it and have fun documenting our year. So, and then like I said, I did share with you how I know what I have left to scrap. I do it like that. I'll link that video if you're interested in seeing that. So I have a yearly album, and I started them in 2013, the year Sean and I met. So I've got that. And then I have my final album that I separate our family again into kind of a little group thing. So this one is going to be our family traditions, is what I think I'm going to call it. So starting in 2015, we've kind of started this tradition where we're going to the beach every year for Canada Day. We spend it, let Jackson run around all day, get exhausted, and have fun. And he's not quite old enough to stay up to do fireworks or anything like that. So when that happens, and if that changes, our tradition could change, but at the moment, that is what it's like. So I have that in there. I also have, I just realized as I was putting stuff away, I have this fun photo. So I have a baby selfie of my little guy. He was 1, yeah, he had just turned 1. So a selfie with him. Again, I keep thinking, like, I call it baby selfie because as a 1-year-old, I still consider him as a baby. But I'm wondering if I should almost do like a newborn selfie to include within this as well. And then I have my toddler selfie. So I probably won't do another one for 3, maybe as a 4-year-old, I might do one. We'll see. We'll see what happens and how it goes. But I've now started a little tiny collection of our selfies together, which is really fun. And it's going to be included in our family traditions because a tradition now is we like to take selfies. Our trip to the pumpkin patch every year, I've gotten those down. I've also started this fun one again. I've only done it for 2014 and 2015, but I've titled it This Is Us, and it kind of just documents a little snippet. Even if it's only talking about the month that it's in, that part doesn't matter. I'm really sorry if that's out of focus and you can't see the layouts, but so it says This Is Us, kind of documents whatever, and then I did the same thing. They're about a year apart. I believe this was in January, and I believe this was in February. So it's fun to look back and see these things and the changes that happen. Carving our pumpkin is a yearly tradition. I am adding into a pocket page. So if I don't want to do a 12 by 12, I don't have to, but I reserve the right to do one and slip it in if I choose. I also have one for Valentine's Day. Our gingerbread tradition that we started, I made sure that we started that right away. That was a big deal to me. And finally, PJs for Christmas. Right now, because again, my daughter isn't born yet, it's Jackson, but I'm gonna create, let's see, I have one more photo for 2016 this year that I think is gonna slip right in there. And then next year will be a 12 by 12 because it'll document both of them. And then maybe I'll have, if I want to, I haven't decided how I'm gonna do it yet, but if I want to, I'll create just a little photo of the two of them together and maybe document her first Christmas pajamas here. So not exactly sure, but that is how I have separated my albums in general on how to do things. So I have a chronological yearly album for every year, a family traditions album, my son's chronological album, and then different sections that will again eventually turn into different albums. So I hope that's a fun insight to you and something interesting for you to see. And if you have any questions, please leave them below. Like I said, I will link the other share that I had done about how I know where to scrap in the description box below. So if you'd like to check that out, it'll be there for you. And that's all I've got. So thanks everyone so much for watching. Bye!